This is the Sales Babble Podcast, episode 448, Why Discipline is the Bridge to Sales Success.
Welcome to Sales Babble, the podcast that shares selling secrets for non-sellers. And now your host, Pat Helmers.
Hello, Sales Babblers. This is Pat Helmers, and man, is there a lot of chaos in the world today. And your company is neck deep in it, as are you, because the company's depending upon your sales skills to keep it afloat. Why? Because without sales, there's no revenue. And if there's no revenue, there's no company. Now, just because the world is in chaos, that doesn't mean that your life must be in chaos too. From this mess, you can build order when you employ a bit of self-discipline. Discipline is the soul of a business. It makes small organizations formidable, strengthening the weak with success for all. Discipline. It's the topic for today. But before we start, make sure and subscribe to the podcast on whatever app you're listening to, and also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and myself on LinkedIn. You can find links in the show notes. And so, with no further ado, let's get to it. And now today's chapter, Discipline. Sales mastery is clear and concise, yet people prefer the side paths. Avoiding discipline, they are out of balance. Lacking organization, deals are lost. Where skill lacks, hard work steps in. The daily grind polishes the professional. And now today's story. On Monday, Pat was moved into the sales manager slot and tasked with turning around the sales team. The entire organization was struggling. A quick survey of the team's key performance indicators illustrated the problem. Some days there were many outbound calls, other days none. When it came to follow-up emails, it was haphazard. Pat's predecessor was loosey-goosey when it came to process and discipline. This had to stop. Pat called a team meeting and shared concerns about the lack of discipline. In the back, Chris spoke up saying, "We have a philosophy that sales is an art and a feel. We all wing it, and that's working." "But it's not," responded Pat. "I'm afraid this team has been treated like mushrooms, best kept in the dark. Our sales numbers are down, and the business is in serious trouble if we don't turn this around by the next quarter." The team turned somber, now understanding why Pat was installed as the boss. Pat went on. "There's an order to qualifying leads, setting appointments, pitching services, and then closing new clients. If we follow a set process, things will work out. Now, I get that you've not had the best leadership, but I pledge to take the successes from my past and make that happen here. I'm committed to your success. Your success is our success." And that was the first of a set of daily coaching meetings that turned around the sales team. Despite what many think, in discipline, there's freedom. Building a structure to your life and bringing it into the workplace is liberating. Sounds like a paradox, right? How can that be, you might think? But this is a fact. When you put less energy into one place, it leaves more energy for other places. Instead of putting energy in deciding what to do, if you take a disciplined approach of outreach and follow-up, tomorrow's day will be scheduled today as part of what you're doing. So when tomorrow comes, it'll be easy to know what to do. All the pressure and the worry evaporates. You're expending less emotional energy worrying. What you're doing is letting the discipline do the heavy lifting. Napoleon Hill said, "Self-discipline begins with the mastery of your thoughts. If you don't control what you think, you can't control what you do." Simply, self-discipline enables you to think first and act afterward. Hill is spot on when it comes to discipline. And trust me, folks, it will pay off in dividends. To download a copy of this week's Tao of Sales Babble chapter, you can find it in the show notes at www.salesbabble.com. And while you are there, you can sign up for our Week Briefly newsletter with links to the show notes. And if you could do me a favor, the next time a friend or family member is looking for a podcast to listen to, recommend Sales Babble. Personal recommendations are the single biggest driver of podcast listens. And if you'd like to continue this conversation about discipline, reach out to me. I'm easy to connect with on LinkedIn or click on the Babble Me button on the website. I'd love to meet you. That's all for today. Until next Tuesday, have a highly successful and a profitable selling day.
Thank you for listening to the Sales Babble podcast. Find us at www.salesbabble.com.
This is a production of Habanero Media.